Travis, I just got asked this question, and I honestly don't know. I don't understand the question, so I'm going to throw it at you. So, real estate flipping, we know what it is, but the question was really more along the lines of ethical, not ethical, creates problems, doesn't create problems, and I don't see any problems in it. If there's a place for it, obviously there's a problem if you're taking advantage of somebody. If you called me up and said, hey, she's 95 years old and she doesn't know that the house is worth $150,000 more and we're going to be able to get it for that. And then as soon as she gets out, we're going to turn around and sell it and make a quick 150. That's a bad idea. And that's not something that I condone, but there are situations where people do want to walk away from a house and don't want to deal with it and understand that if it is fixed up, remodeled, and put back on the market, that a healthy profit can be made on it in a very short period of time.
100% agree with you. There's one in our neighborhood that saw being renovated. I'm like, oh, are they updating their house? What's going on here? I didn't know who they were, but I knew the house. And then a sign goes in the yard. And I'm like, and it's vacant. I got very suspicious. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? It was a very original house. I assume original owner, my neighborhood. That puts you maybe in a nursing home type of age. And they sell it, and I go look, and in my humble estimation, they robbed somebody out of that house.
Okay.
And I'm sure the response I will get is, no, they wanted a way out, a quick way. So the benefits of a cash offer fast, no inspections, all this made it worth the fact that they sold it to us at this ridiculously low price. And, of course, I'm not going to believe that. So I agree with you. There are people who will take advantage. And actually, this is interesting. I didn't think about mentioning this, but if an agent ever comes to me and, asks that, hey, I'm representing, people who flip houses, or I'd like to flip one myself. I'm going to buy one of my clients' houses or something. Is that a problem? I said, no, none of that's a problem. But what you need to do is you need to say, here's values, the houses.
Right.
Boy, you better be honest. Don't play any games
Right.
and leave comps out and comps in and say, if you put it on the market, you probably make so much. I would like to purchase it here. And I expect to make here.
Right.
And here's how much I'm going to have to invest in the house to do it. I mean, you got to lay your cards on the table. Otherwise, you're definitely open for a lawsuit.
Correct. And I would even go as far as to say, every situation is different, but usually when somebody is in that situation, they're really looking for convenience, or I've seen it. They just don't care anymore. And
it does happen.
Yeah, it does. I've got plenty of money. Everything is good. I just need this number and I'm moving on my way and new chapter in my life, and it's all good. But if I still even say, if that's the case, you still want to make sure that you are offering this property up, and that even if they're selling it to somebody that's going to be flipping it, you still want to get them the maximum amount of dollar for that situation. Okay, here are 3 or 4 investors that are bidding against each other for this particular property, so we're maxing out on it. So you're still getting what you want in the ease and convenience, but you're also getting the most for the most bang for your buck in this particular situation. I think it's important to just make sure that we're always transparent in that. And it's funny because on the flip side, how many times do you get a phone call from somebody that says, I want to buy a house, but I want a deal.
Yeah.
And I want a really good deal.
Oh,
and,
great. You're the only one I've ever met that's wanted that.
Right. And, I want 20% or 30% or 40% under market value. Fabulous. If I find that, more than likely I'm buying it. Just letting you know. More than likely you're going to be competing with me, but I'm happy to work with you. So,
That's a good response.
I don't know. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Yeah. Well, one of the thoughts that I had when this topic came up was that a lot of people argue, hey, there are all these, they think they're affordable homes and they're being scooped up by investors for cash or whatever in a way that the normal consumer can't compete with them. And it's not fair, even if they're not turning them into rentals or doing whatever they're doing with them. If they are flipping them back into the inventory, well, now they got to pay this inflated price. And I'm like, boy, what a way to choose your impression of what that process looks like.
Right.
Because generally, most of these houses are in pretty poor shape and they need some work. And when flippers do flip them, they're putting a product back on the market.
Correct.
And it's usually at a price that a house like that should be priced at.
Correct.
So they're not killing the inventory. They're doing a lot of services that people think they would want to or could do, both of which are usually, no, you can't.
Correct.
And so it's not problematic. Comment on that.
Well, debunk one of the first myths that we tend to hear. A flipper cheaps out on the work.
Okay, that I was going to leave that for the next one, but
Yeah.
that can be an issue.
Correct. But for the most part, that's a myth. 99% of the time when I'm seeing a flipper come in and they're actually flipping a house, the material that they're bringing in, the products that they're bringing in, they're doing a very nice job of putting that house together. And to your point, the typical buyer who's getting a loan on a property can't walk into that property. They put all their money down and put it into getting the property. They don't have the 60, sometimes $100,000, $150,000 extra to put that work into the house.
100% true.
To get it done. And
Not to mention if there's something pretty dramatic about the house that's fixable,
right.
but it's bigger than dirty carpets and walls, no lender's going to lend on that.
Correct.
So you've got to find someone who's going to be able to purchase that house.
Valid point.
So this is very interesting. This goes back to a podcast we did previously, which has to do with the professionalism in our industry. And what did we say? Are we dinosaurs, or are we going to continue and have a place? This is a perfect example when we talk about the quality of the workmanship in a house. Can anybody tell whether it's good quality workmanship or not? Maybe, but I think there's a lot of people that really don't know.
They don't.
And if you pick an agent who's either dealt with these or has been in the business long enough and say, hey, I'm concerned about this house and I just want to make sure that it's not a bunch of lipstick on a pig.
Correct.
You're going to find tremendous value in the agent that's going to be able to walk you through it and show you what to look for.
Absolutely. And one of my favorites, the house got flipped. First thing I look for, they pull permits. So there's
Does it look like any walls are missing?
Exactly. And yeah, work can be done without permits, but in a situation like this, if this is your business and this is what you're doing, those are the types of things and types of places where you shouldn't be cutting corners and things of that nature, because all that's going to do is open you up for failure to disclose something or something going wrong in the future, and just don't want to be there.
But isn't it such a beautiful yard? They literally just laid sod down.
Sod.
I don't see one sprinkler. Do you like to go out and water your yard 3 times a day for 3 months?
Right?
And those are petunias in mulch.
Yep.
Those will be gone in less than a month.
Correct. In some cases, they've been switched out already because
Yeah.
it took too long to sell. Yeah.
So, does it look beautiful right now? Absolutely, but I see a problem.
I'm laughing because I did see one flip and a bad job at a flip, and you mentioned the sod. This had a concrete patio in the backyard, and they literally
sodded right over
they
it.
sodded over the concrete and watered the crap out of that thing to keep it green until they sold it. And then the homeowner found out about it. It wasn't a sale that
Good, I hope
I
they
was
sued.
involved. They did, and it was a big lawsuit. And yeah, but obviously that's an agent not doing their job. And you made a very valid point on just some of the little things to look for. Yeah, it's brand new sod. How's that getting watered? Did they dig the trenches to put the sprinkler system in there too? Or did we just drop this in the ground and boom, it's done?
With a cracked, leaking, one dripping water, sprinkler and nothing else.
Exactly. And 3 weeks later, it's going to all be dead because you're not going to go out there and water it.
Yeah.
So, God, get so many stories from that.
Yeah. Now,
It's a rabbit hole.
let's go to the other side. I won't name any names, but I could go down a pretty good list, probably get up to about 10 of agents that I know that were in the flipping business that do a great job.
Absolutely.
They've got crews.
Yep.
They know what they're doing. They know how to buy the product. and it's a repetitive thing. So they're going out there and knocking these things out, and they do a great job. And I think they provide a great service.
Absolutely.
Everyone hates it because, oh, I didn't get the good deal. I didn't have the chance to buy that house. And I mean, that is unfortunate for those that are capable and could, and they're getting squeezed out. Guess what? I'm in the business 23 years, and I get squeezed out of deals. And
Sometimes.
I don't like it.
Yep.
But we got to do what we can. But when we have these beat up properties, too many times it takes a certain person to be able to get it back on the market. Man, you bought that for $500 and now you put it on the market for $700. How could you do that? You only had it 2 months ago.
Yep.
Okay, maybe we should do some before and after to get an idea of what's going on here.
Well, not just before and after. Do you realize how much work goes into transforming a home in that short a period of time?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean the amount of value that's in that alone is incredible. I mean, back in the day, part of my business used to be the REO, and you want to talk about having to get a house flipped and put back together, and yeah.
Well, they're cracking a whip on you
exactly.
from the bank, right?
Exactly, yeah. You're getting fines if your stuff doesn't happen in time. So having your crews in place and having everything put together and dialing it all in was super, super crucial in having the right people.
Wow.
But yeah. But I love the REOs. They always look good. They were always a good product back onto the market. It was nice to see a house that you walk into that you say, oh my goodness, the unfortunate situation, but to see a new homeowner go in there and have a house that is ready for them, everything working, everything new, everything just move in ready.
Yeah.
It was good to see those new first-time buyers go into those. So,
absolutely. All right, all said and done. Flipping. Net positive or a net negative?
net positive. I think there's a place for it. Yes, there's shysters out there, but
where aren't they?
yeah, exactly. But there's definitely a place for it.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
all right. Thank you guys. Would love to hear your input. That goes in the comments below, right?
I think so.
Perfect. Like and subscribe. In case you didn't know, we're new at this.